There is a room, bathed in the soft glow of machines, where time itself seems to hold its breath. It's the neurological intensive care unit, a frontier between a life paused and a future unknown. In this room, the patient is still, but their mind is alive, broadcasting the most intimate script ever written, the electrical language of the brain. This constant flickering line, the electroencephalogram, or EEG, is a river of pure consciousness. It carries the signature of their identity, their memories, their fears. But more urgently, it holds the subtle clues to their survival. The whisper of an impending seizure, the silent shadow of a stroke, the invisible trauma that no CT or MRI scan can see. This data stream is our single greatest window into the mind's real-time operation. And for decades, we have stood before this window, able to see, but not fully understand. We have built a machine that listens to the brain, only to discover we are drowning in its voice. And in this place, where time is not measured in seconds, but in neurons, we are critically, dangerously slow. This isn't a failure of technology. In fact, it's a problem caused by our success. It is a failure of human bandwidth. The modern continuous EEG, CEEG, is a marvel. Dozens of electrodes are placed on the scalp, creating a multi-channel 24/7 torrent of data. It is not a snapshot like an X-ray. It is a feature-length film of the brain's life, written in a language of complex, overlapping waves, alpha, beta, delta, theta. To find the one critical 2-second anomaly that signals disaster, a highly trained neurophysiologist must manually sift through the entire 24-hour recording. Let's put this in perspective. Imagine being handed a stack of novels 20 feet high, written in a cryptic language you only partially understand. You were told that somewhere in that stack is a single misspelled word. Finding it is a matter of life and death. Now, do it again, every day, for every patient in your care. How long does this monumental task take? Reports from the front lines are staggering. A single specialist with years of dedicated training can spend between 2 and 4 hours, or in some cases, an entire working day, to meticulously review one 24-hour recording. But the brain does not wait. A seizure, a sudden electrical storm, doesn't pause for a report. Ischemia, the silent starvation of oxygen to brain tissue, inflicts irreversible, catastrophic damage in minutes. The data flows in real time, but the interpretation, the life-saving insight, often arrives hours too late. This gap isn't just an administrative delay. It is a dark, dangerous chasm of vulnerability. It is a period where the patient, despite being surrounded by the best technology medicine can offer, is functionally flying blind. This crisis of speed is then magnified by a stark human reality. We are running out of experts. There is a profound, global shortage of the neurophysiologists and epileptologists qualified to perform this heroic task. In many hospitals, especially outside of major neurological centers, there simply is no expert on call 24/7. This means those critical recordings, the brain's urgent messages, pile up. They sit on a server, unread, waiting for the next business day. The very promise of continuous monitoring becomes a tragic illusion, a river of data flowing unseen. This lack of speed is terrifying, but what if I told you the problem is far deeper, far more insidious? What if the very gold standard we rely on, the trained human mind, is itself flawed? We turn to these specialists as the final arbiters of truth, the high priests of neurology. But a series of sobering academic studies, hidden in plain sight, reveals a fundamental crack in the foundation of this entire field. When researchers give different, equally qualified experts the exact same EEG recording to interpret, their conclusions often do not match. This is the measure of inter-rater reliability, or IRR. The studies are alarming. A large-scale 2022 study on EEG patterns found the reliability between experts was, in their words, only moderate. The statistical measures, like the kappa coefficient, hover around 0.42 to 0.44. To put that in perspective, a kappa score of 1.0 is perfect agreement. A score of 0.0 is pure random chance. We are operating our most critical brain diagnostics in a fog of statistical uncertainty. Industry and medical sources are even more blunt, reporting that manual interpretation can have an error and variability rate as high as 30%. One expert's epileptiform discharge, a sign of epilepsy, is another expert's benign normal variant. But here is the most dangerous part. A stunning 2014 study highlighted a profound psychological paradox. While the objective consistency between doctors was mediocre, their subjective confidence in their own interpretations was, on average, 99% or higher. This is a system defined by high confidence and low consensus. We have built a diagnostic house of cards on the assumption that the expert is always right, forgetting that experts are human. This isn't an abstract academic debate. This inconsistency has profound, heartbreaking human consequences. We see it every day in the overreading of normal, harmless brain patterns, mistaking wicked waves or small, sharp spikes for true epileptic activity. This leads to a cascade of devastating misdiagnoses. Patients who simply fainted or had a psychological event are suddenly told they have epilepsy. They are put on powerful, life-altering anti-epileptic drugs with significant side effects for a condition they never had. The gold standard, it turns out, is not gold, it's human. This brings us to a critical, powerful realization. The fundamental problem in neurodiagnostics is not just a need for speed, it is a profound systemic crisis of standardization. If the top human experts, the very people who write the textbooks, cannot consistently agree, then the ground truth we use to train our junior doctors, and, ironically, our older AI models, is itself subjective. It is unstable, shifting like sand beneath our feet. Hiring more experts or training them for more years will not solve this core issue. It will just scale the inconsistency. It will produce more 99% confident opinions that disagree. The market, the doctors, and the patients don't just need a tool that mimics this flawed, manual process faster. That would just be making the wrong diagnoses with greater efficiency. No, the market needs a new standard. It needs an objective, unblinking, and perfectly consistent benchmark. This is the true vacuum that technology, specifically artificial intelligence, is now racing to fill. The goal is not just automation, it's objectivity. The goal is to create a new, reliable, true north for brain analysis. This is where the story truly begins. The emergence of a new kind of AI, one trained not on the subjective opinions of a few experts, but on millions of hours of raw brain activity, allows us to build a model that, once rigorously validated, gives the same answer for the same data every single time. It removes human fatigue. It eliminates subjective bias. It never gets overconfident or overreads a pattern because it had a bad morning. A company, like Parametal, that can deliver this isn't just selling a productivity tool. It's selling something far more precious to a health system: trust. It is offering consistency. It is promising, for the first time, a truly verifiable, objective gold standard for neurological care. This isn't the story of machines replacing doctors. It is the story of giving doctors a compass. It's the story of creating a tool that can finally decode the complex language of the brain with the rigor and consistency it demands. It is the first step in a revolution, one that doesn't just change a hospital's workflow, but changes our fundamental ability to understand the human mind itself.